Well, thank you, and good morning. We are very, very glad to see the number of people that show up for this workshop, especially the level of young people who I think that this community can benefit from in terms of what we do in this workshop. It will be more hands-on approach. The former Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports, the Honorable Sam Ehead will be here, as well as one of our own brother, Mr. Dominic Roberts, which of course is a youth coach, and the moderator. But we'll have other young people like former Deputy Secretary for Programs for FLA, and also Joe Wilson, former Secretary General also from the University of Liberia. All of them will be talking to you about different things, but we have two major facilitators, two major presenters of the program. Those two major presenters are going to be Dominic Roberts and Sam Ehead, former Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports. But notwithstanding, the last time we're here, we did another workshop on youth leadership, and I'm hoping that some of you benefited from that. So those of you who benefited from that, people who hands up. Over here. So only one person, 2, 3, 4. Another person here. So about 6, 7. But the other thing I want to say before I return to speak of this microphone is that there are many times that we do this workshop and we don't put a lot of focus on how we as young people can take ownership of our community. And I want you guys to reflect on that. It's your responsibility to make sure that your community becomes second to none. It's not our mother, it's not our father, it's us, because we have the energy, the zest, the creativity, to make sure that our community, if our community doesn't have youth center, we need to make our voices heard. If our community doesn't have any trickle-down effect on the Liberian government, we need to organize ourselves such a way that our organization can be part and parcel in terms of the development agenda in our country. But if we're not doing that as young people in our own corner and bellies and pockets of our country, then we are not doing our own work. Because if you look at the National Youth Policy Framework, that is comprised of 8 thematic areas. Whether it's youth employment, empowerment, youth training, whether it's recreation and sports, substance abuse, juvenile delinquency, or gender equity. It's your voice or your voices that is in that document and that needs to have a trickle-down effect in Liberia. Because if we don't talk about them, it's not being part and parcel of the development agenda in our country, then why are we around young people? Nigeria right now, we're a very young country. Very, very young country. 7% of our population, close to 2 million people are under the age of 35 years. But yet them say, in terms of redistribution or proper distribution of our natural resources, we are not a factor. So we need to organize ourselves better. We need to learn from these kind of workshops and training, and then take it to our community. Clean up your community. Organize lecture series, intellectual debate, quizzing team, tutorial services, mentor programs for young people in your community. If you don't do that, you know what happens? You will not sleep, we will not sleep. Because at the end of the day, if the young people are not engaged, you know what happens? They say an adult alone is in bad company. If the young person is not engaged thoroughly, the young person will not have any choice but to practice criminality. And that criminality can be armed robbery, it can be pickpocketing, it can be theft of property, it can do a lot of different things. And what that does is that it kills the fabric of our society, it kills the fabric of our community. So this workshop is going to be looking at all of those good things. But before I don't want to bore you, I don't want to bore you, but I think the first presenter, which of course is a youth coach, will motivate you on different things. Alright? But I don't want to dive into what he will get involved in. And then the next presenter, which is the Honorable Sam E. Head Jr., former Deputy Minister for Youth Development, Ministry of Youth and Sports, also a CEO of the Great Institute for Success Technology and Leadership Studies. He has just written a book. Hopefully we'll gain some things from that book that he wrote. And some of us were there when he launched the book at the YMCA. And then Mr. Baka Salif, a permanent person, rehab community, will make some remarks. And then the other people who will come from the rehab community to deliver remarks. The vote thing will be done by Herodotus, the event director, and then the other thing will come after that. So, but thank you so much for being here. I think I'm always glad that the Center for Counseling and Restorative Dialogue can partner with community like these in terms of getting stuff like this done. Because sometimes our government cannot reach to everybody. So we as community, we are youth leaders or former student leaders. When we have our small organizations or big organizations, we need to come to communities like these and have that trickle down effect. Other than that, this community or other community will not benefit. Next week, we'll be in other communities. We'll go to the Kuala area, the Ladazwa area, we'll do the same thing there. What I'm trying to do now is to move from community to community and do this kind of workshop. I think it's very important for us to do that and demonstrate our own leadership in this kind of community and forums so our young people can benefit from that. So thank you so much. We'll be here, we'll be interacting with you. We'll be talking about the different things that don't be ashamed. You come in the side and talk about some of your personal things. In my own personal career, I'm a psychosocial counselor. That's what I did for 70 years in Nigeria and in the United States of America. So if you're going through some of your own personal issues, you can come and talk to me. Don't come talk to me about money system. You just talk to me about your own personal issue, maybe growing up in a home, having been a single parent, or maybe your father's not home, your mother's not home, challenges in your school, and you can get around some of those things. Our job is to make you think outside the box of your own situation and to deal with the situation. So I'll be around until this workshop is over, and then you can engage me and talk about anything, your personal issue. Yeah? Don't be ashamed. We all got problems. Don't say this telling here that I don't have a problem. I have a lot of problems. But I found other people to talk to them about my problem as well. Because if you don't talk about your problem and keep absorbing your problem, there's something we call AKA road rage or explosive disorder. If you keep your problem within you for a long time, you know what happens? You will flip out. And when you flip out, it will become very bad. Alright? So thank you, and let me sit and I will do this. Thank you so much.
Always want to build the youth. We want to invest in the youth, and I'm excited to be part of a generation of leaders who are investing in the lives of young people. Very excited once again. I am the National Director of Youth Vision International, and I help with the work in Africa. So it has afforded me the opportunity of going to different countries where we are. Youth Vision is right now in Kenya, in Mali, in Guinea, in Sierra Leone, Senegal, Togo, Brazil. Of course, the funders are there in the United States. And we have one goal: to make leaders out of young people. So that they can lead in every sphere of life. So once again, I'm happy to be here, and I'm going to be taking you through goal setting. And it's a workshop forum, so I expect that you have your pen and your paper. Am I right? So I hope you have your pen and your paper. It will be good that you write something, and the objectives of this workshop that I'm dealing with are here as follows. 1, participants will learn the importance of SMART goals. You're going to learn the importance of SMART goals. Number 2, not only that, you're going to learn the importance of SMART goals. You're also going to learn steps you need to take to achieve those goals. It is important for us to understand that it's not just enough to set a goal. It is also important to take some action steps to be able to achieve your goals. Right or wrong?
Right.
Right. Let me say something funny. If you don't have a goal, you live like a goat. Somebody said that. And have you tried carrying a boat? Have you tried pulling a boat by a rope? Yeah. And what happened? We carry it in one direction and it's going where? Another direction. I know you have tried that. So it's important that you set goals for your life. And I do believe that after this workshop, you're going to be able to set goals, and not only that, you're going to have the empowerment to achieve those goals. Are you hearing me? So I believe that after this workshop, nobody here will leave from here without understanding what it takes. Maybe I should help you do some other things. Well, so we're going to be talking about SMART goals. I want you to raise your hand if you have ever wanted to achieve something in life. Anybody here? Have you ever wanted to achieve something in life? Just raise your hand. Let me see. Raise your hand. Can anyone freely tell us what they want to achieve? You want to tell us? I just saw many names just now, and all of you said that you have always wanted to achieve something in life. So anybody want to volunteer? A male and a female. Okay, let me see the hands once again. What have you?
I don't know my career.
What do you want to achieve?
Oh,
Have you ever wanted to achieve something in life? That's something. What?
and I want to achieve. I want to be electrical engineer.
Okay.
I wish, of course, I'm working to work now.
Good. Thank you very much.
I pray to achieve a bachelor's degree.
Bachelor's degree. Yes. Well, good. You all set a goal for your life. Anybody? You see the hands of those who have set a goal. Anyone here? Have you ever set a goal for yourself? Nobody? Oh, good. Let's stand up.
Yes,
So please do that.
I have prayed to be a soil scientist, which is geology. I'm working towards it now.
Okay. Another person who wants to tell us? Now, and the best way to figure out the goals you want to accomplish is to look at your life and see what you want. The best way to figure out the goals that you want to accomplish is to look at your life and see what you want. Now, we have a situation in Liberia A lot of young people are choosing some kind of career, not because they have looked within themselves, not because they have considered their values, their skills, their personality, and their interests, but it's because their friends and peers have chosen to do some of those careers. So, a brother told me that his niece has done her 4th year in the university, and she was now considering changing her course. Why? Because she has no interest. That she made a choice not based upon her values, her skills, her interests, and her personality. So if you allow young people growing up without goals, that is important. So you got to look within yourself. Right now, I want us to do something. I guess you have a pen and you have a paper. If not, you have to use somebody else's pen. We're going to do an icebreaker. I just want you to follow me. On the top of your sheet, I want you to write WANTS and underline it. Once. On the top of your sheet, you have just write. Now the purpose of this icebreaker is for you to think about what you want in life and be able to write it down. So, I'm going to give you just 1 minute to write down on that sheet of paper you have what you want in life. Each of you will have to write it down. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you don't limit yourself. I guess you are writing your. No, I didn't say you read it. No, I didn't instruct anyone to read out what you want. I said you write it down. You done that already? Good. Then wait for the next instruction. I see the young boy sometimes in my youth group in some of the schools that ask them a question. You say, why are you here? Why are you here? And sometimes they'll say, yeah, I'm here to learn. I want to acquire knowledge. That's awesome, but what do you hope to become in the next 5 years? You think about what you want. You don't want just to pass over your year. This exercise is important. It's the basis for what I want to do. I want to use what you have written here. I also want to begin. So what do you hope to become when you grow up? You say, I want to be a policeman. You say, oh, you want to be a policeman? Okay, no problem. Is that what you want to be? I was tempted to ask him the next question. But one of the guys, not ask him, maybe he will tell you that. He said, you will correct, nego. All those are writing something down. Let me see those. Let me see your paper you are writing on. Let me see. You are writing something down. What you want to accomplish in life. Everybody has written it down. Yes. A lot of you, right? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Let me see those who did not write it. The direction is all to go in. You keep going in another direction. It's important. Listen to me. I want you to pick the first, the top. I don't know how many you write more than 5. You wrote more than 5 things.
5 to 10 years. People solve numbers. I want to be on medical data, but I'm reaching the process now is on our end. a musician. I also radio amateur. I also want to become a pastor. In Jesus' name. My main goal is I want to be a musician. I'm going to Kata practice now. In Jesus' name.
Praise God. I'm in a soundtrack you sing. I want to be a very open power. The most important thing is a pastor.
To know this song. How do we call this? So. And how do we call this? So, how many of us can sing? I know, but by the time we get through this in less than 30 seconds time, you will understand it. So, just quietly, let me see, just join me, let's do this. When we point to it, we'll call it To, Me. One more time. To, Me. Can we do it faster? Not even watch me. Let's go. One more time. See you guys. Some of you guys are so out here as the exercise goes on. Thank you very much.
Keep doing it till your palm. Yeah, till you feel something very hard, yeah? Next time. Kind of receive it.
It's really burning down.
Okay. And the kind of food we do like this, and we send it to him, right? It's our way that he grabs it. It's too heavy than before. Better than that, you can do it better than that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello. As for me, one thing I learned from his teaching is without gold, you live like a goat. Our next item here is special statement, which will be done by Mr. T. Maxwell Gracevin, Director of Enforcement, Revenue Department, Ministry of Finance. Please let's hear him out.
Recent teachers. I've met our teacher and presenter. I'd like to say thank you. I think your presentation was rewarding. I'd like to recognize and appreciate the organizers, Mr. Ali Sila, who heads the Center for Counseling and Restorative Dialogue, elders and leaders of this great church, Crestland Church Ministry, one of the most senior youth leader, former minister, Sam here. I'd like to recognize and appreciate your presence. Colleagues, some of the finest and best sons of our generation, I feel highly privileged to speak to you for not more than 2 minutes, I'm sure. I'd like to remind you that August 2013 marked exactly 50 years after the Negro struggle in America. For those of you who through school read stories about the Black History Month, you will recall that in August, sometime in 1963, there was a struggle in America. Back in Liberia, we almost more than 167 years. Struggles. I just thought to reflect a little. Wow. If you may, I appreciate it. Okay, so I just thought to reflect a little. 50 years in America, they were celebrating something called the Black History Month, the legal struggle. Back in Liberia, there's a struggle. And I'd like to tell you of the struggle of my generation. I'm told this is the generation in 2013 that performed exceptionally well in WAEC. And when I listened to the news, even the Ministry of Education spoke proudly of this generation and students.
few months after, I listened to another report that members of this generation, over 25,000, took tests and failed miserably. I got reminded of a paradox that the best and brightest student passed and failed 2 major tests in our country. Something must be wrong. We're performing well, exceptionally. We're telling the story on BBC, but we fail in your entrance, in our numbers. What does it say about us? But this is the untold story of my generation, and the generation of the best and brightest young people. Today you've come to set goals. And I think it's key that we reflect a little and try to understand what story people want to know about this generation. This is the most peaceful generation, live in massive unemployment, but have now reverted to war, live in extreme poverty, but it's not calling for war and not wanting warmongers. This is our generation, a generation where the best jobs are available for the generation before us, but we're now fighting and forming power and moja. This is a generation I'm proud of, a very proud generation. But I know, because I used to be a Methodist, and I'm still a Methodist, and I believe the charge to keep we have, a God to glorify, I'm told, a never dying soul to save, and fit it for the sky. We have a call to serve this present age, and it's a calling to fulfill. We can say, we are going, heaven knows where we are going as a generation. But we know we are going. We will get there. Oh yes, we will get there. There are untold stories that we are the worst, but the most beautiful people. We're still the worst in Africa, not just Liberia, and anywhere else, because they say that about us. But as a generation, before 15 and 17, we have a high school diploma. Before 23, we have a bachelor degree. If not in the majority, many of us still have that. There are untold stories about this generation. When you are 25 and want to be minister of youth and sport, you're too immature and inexperienced. But years back, somebody was 26 and head of a bank and became a millionaire. Another person, for instance, Weston Tappet, was 26. Mr. Bama family was 28, was minister, Tipote, early 30, and the list goes on. But Grace Bay cannot be minister at 30 because it's too young, immature, and inexperienced. This is the untold story of our generation. I have come to make this clearing call that while you feel miserably, you have a place in society. Stand up. Oh yes, there is a clearing call. Stand up. For we have sat too long. I have come to encourage you. If you cannot sit, then stand. If you cannot stand, then run. But whatever you do, like Dr. King would say, don't stop moving until that mission purpose in your life is fulfilled. This is the story of my generation. Thank you.
Him as his professional assistant when he was at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. And I had an opportunity to tap into the fountain of his wisdom. He has been at a variety of my programs in Banga, in Claratown, and in Mangibi. And he always says yes when Heredatu says, Honorable Hair, please come over. As a matter of fact, I call him Sen. It's no disrespect because he likes being called Sen. And then it is my distinguished honor at this present time. And I hope we rouse and also give a round of applause as we welcome the former Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports, the former Deputy Minister for Youth Development at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and now President of the Liberia Institute of Sussex Technology and Leadership Studies. You're welcome.
How long is this? When you think about your hair, you can't forget. So whenever you see me, you think about your hair, you know that Uncle Sam or that Sam, alright? But I'd like to thank Nordotus and Ali for what they are presenting to you. And let me tell you it straight. What you are going through here today, I've been listening to Dominion. Yes, sir. It's something you will not hear in your classroom. But it is something that if you neglect, you will just be going in circles and your life will be insignificant. Goal setting, talking about personal effectiveness, getting motivational props from what Maxwell gave, is something that many of us never had the chance to get. All we concentrated on was reading, writing, and arithmetic, which has its place, but in the real world, it requires by far more than that if you want to be effective or you want to be an achiever. My task is to talk about the habits of effective people. The habits of effective people. This is basically talking about leadership. Okay? And I will try as best as possible to bring it home to you, to make you to understand that the way you are living your life right now, the conditions under which you see yourself, no matter how bad it may be, is not the end of the record. One song says the record is not over yet. The record is not over yet. It can be reprogrammed, it can be rewritten and re-implemented. Okay? So as we talk about effectiveness, we are basically talking about leadership. One writer said that everything rises and falls on leadership. Everybody said leadership. Leadership. This is the buzzword. This is the key word that will shift you from ineffectiveness to effectiveness. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Whether it is a nation, whether it is a family, whether it is a church, even your own personal life. Let me make a very bold statement that may jet you a little. I believe with all my heart that the most important challenge, the most difficult problem in Liberia is not a poverty problem. It's not a corruption problem. It's not an unemployment problem. It's not an illiteracy problem. It is a leadership problem. It is a leadership problem. Now, mind you, I did not say a leader problem. I said a leadership problem. There is a difference between leader and leadership. And the better you get to understand the concept, the closer you will get to personal effectiveness. Now, you will never, now let's go back to the statement before. That everything rises and falls on leadership. There are some people, you're the same age. Perhaps you're in the same school. You're living in the same community. But you watch your friend everything, your friend well-dressed, your friend studying a lesson, your friend done a small business, you know, your friend doing better than you in class. You wonder, you say, well, me and the man in the same community, we go to the same school. But look at me, I can't even find transportation, I can't even find lunch money. Nobody wants to be bothered with me. Leadership. The leadership that he's applying to his life is different from the leadership that you are applying to your life. You may go to two schools. This school has a principal, this school has a principal. Leader. But the leadership in this school, if you look at this school is, I mean, you go walk in the school is quiet, students are going about their business, in the library studying, professors are teaching, and at the end you see this school, grades are up, you go to the same school, it has a principal, leader, but the noise, the chaos in the school, the one guy sitting down, they play a drunk student in uniform in the corner sleeping. but he has a principle. But this school, the school grades, everybody is making low grades, but in this school, everybody's making high grades. Leadership. The effectiveness of your work will never rise above your ability to effectively lead others. Okay? Leadership is very, very important. You may go to this church or to this mosque and you will see the difference. You may go to this NGO. Let's look at countries, for example. You know, in Liberia, we always boast of having the world best. World best, Africa, Europe, Liberia, world best football player. Yes, good and true. We boast of having Africa's first female elected president. Yes, good and true. But I always tell young people when I meet them, do not rest on that. Liberia may have world best, world first, but we got 7 world worst. 7 world worst. We have the highest illiteracy rate in the world, highest poverty rate in the world, highest unemployment rate in the world, highest teenage pregnancy rate in the world, highest infant mortality rate in the world, highest maternal mortality rate in a recent most corrupt country in the world. Now, some people may argue, oh man, we second, or we third, or we fourth. But who wants to be bothered? We are at the bottom of the ladder. Why? Everything rises and falls on leadership. So why are we there? Because of what? Leadership. Say, why are we here? Because of what? Leadership. Now, and I really want us to see the difference of what I'm talking about when I say our problem is a leadership problem. You see, for leadership, what is leadership? If you ask, you see, if you ask who is the leader of this church, the answer will be the pastor, right? Right? Who's the leader of Monrovia? The city mayor, right? Who's the leader of Flevo Town? The town chief, right? Who's the leader of the county? The superintendent, right? Who's the leader of RE Football Club? The president or the captain, right? You see, in our country, leadership is positional. Leadership is based on elections, is based on appointment, and unless you are appointed or elected and have a title, you are not seen as a leader. If somebody who does not have a title is trying to provide leadership, if they say it's undermining, you can't wait a time until he be minister so he can do a move. It's our paradigm of leadership that is killing us. It's a new word for most of you. Everybody say paradigm. Paradigm. You know, effectiveness also deals with vocabulary. The words you use, as you increase your vocabulary, your whole perception changes also. Everybody say paradigm. Paradigm. Alright? Now, I want us to understand what is a paradigm. Leadership is just a paradigm. Who has an understanding of the word paradigm that they want to share? Paradigm. Anybody? There's no stupid answer. And accept things to be. Your paradigm is your perception. The way the Liberian perception of a young girl with a baby tied on her back is a baby mom. Now, the way we see things affect the way we act, the way we behave. When we see baby mom, what do? We usually we're nice to baby mom, right? When the difficult situation, oh, baby man, come here, open the door, baby man, sit down, baby man, you want drink? Because you think it's a baby man, your attitude towards that person will change. But Gay is holding her sister baby on her back. She's not baby man. But
tell us, what are you doing here today?
I came for this workshop
with the expectation of learning how to sing for the Lord.
So they are teaching you about leadership. You think you want to be a leader in your community as well?
Yes, I want to be a leader. But not really in my community, I want to be a lawyer.
So you're not a national leader or lawyer anyway. So you think the program here is inspiring you to do that? So what do you want to learn from the program? What do you hope to learn from this workshop?
I said earlier I want to learn how to set my goal because I plan to be a lawyer, but I've been getting discouragement from many people. And my brother encouraged me that this workshop will help me. So I decided to come.
And you think you'll be learning much from here?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So your name, sir?
I'm Pastor Harris Bispo. I'm the resident pastor for Christland Church Ministry.
Yeah, Pastor, your church is being used here. I mean, this church is being used here for the workshop for new people. How is this going to impact their life?
We are in partnership. The church, Christland Church Ministry, is in partnership for Center for Counseling and Retrospective Dialogue. And so, in collaboration with them, we decided to go for this workshop so that we can be able to impact the young people of our society and the community.
So, what church you got this workshop for the young people in this community?
Well, we found out that the young people of this community are not very focused, and in order for us to help them as a church and the community, we decided to bring them together so that we can talk to our brothers from the Center for Retrospective to enable them to set goals and be a part of society.
Okay, certain goal is carving, and one thing they also want to push is leadership. You think it's important that young people start to take leadership and self-initiative in their rural communities?
It's very important because this generation is gradually deteriorating, and we expect these young people to take over after us. So we must be able to put ourselves into them, we must be able to build them up so that when we are no longer in the scene, they can be able to take after us.
Are they young people from the church or the entire community?
They are from the church, they are from the community, they are from the entire community.
So how were they encouraged to come to this program?
We went after them one-on-one, we did personal evangelism, we mobilized them, we talked to them, we called them on the phone, and we were able to get the population you see.
And the program is a success today?
Sure, indeed it's a success. We want to be grateful to Center for Counseling and Retrospective Dialogue and the church leadership for facilitating the workshop, and also for our facilitator from the Ministry of Youth and Sport and that of the Center for Dialogue and Retrospective.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
So just introducing yourself, sir.
My name is Herodotus Sandokoyan, and I happen to be the event director for this event.
Okay, tell us what triggered this from your perspective, bringing up young people together from this community, trying to educate them about leadership and setting goals.
I think the intent of this workshop is one of the motivating factors for what we have engaged into such an initiative. As a matter of fact, this is our second community event that is being sponsored by the Center for Counseling and Restorative Dialogue, CCRD. This is a new community, this is a growing community, so we think it is important to get our young people totally involved into youth capacity building initiatives and programs that are geared to bringing them in the best possible way. So it's from this backdrop that we have organized this event so that we can have our young people in this community, in the nearest communities, to also benefit from such a program.
So how many young people do you think you mobilize for this program?
We have a little close to 150 young people, as evidenced by their presence there.
I think they are enthusiastic about learning about setting goals and leadership in the rural community and self-initiative.
I have no doubt they are very, 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 very encouraged to be a part of this unique activities.
So what do you hope to achieve at the end of this workshop in order that will be followed?
At the end of this workshop, we expect our participants to be more community-driven, that they will engage into more service learning activities, and with emphasis in building their own capacities. Because the more you serve your community, the better you can be as far as intelligence is concerned, and your academic well-being is concerned as well.
Okay, you as a young man in this community, what triggered you to get involved in helping your fellow colleagues? It may be some people that want to sit and have what I want, I'm educated and just sit and relax and leave what they're going. What is pushing you to this?
I would say it's my orientation on a serious note. I grew up in the wilds of Liberia, and I've had an opportunity to visit other countries, including the US. And I usually come back home because I think I should be one of those contributing towards the building of a new Liberia. So it is from this passion that I see it as an opportunity to get our young people involved as much as possible into events like this.
So with the event, since you have passion for the young people, not only this community, and will you be going out for other community to help them too?
Sure enough, sure enough.
Any final comments, sir, to the young people across the country?
I want to be grateful to the participants in there for accepting our calls to participate. This is not their first time. They came in February and they are here now in August. I also want to use this medium to encourage all young people in Liberia to be proactive, because the building of Liberia exclusively lies in the hands of all Liberians.
Thank you. What's the name of the institution, your institution here?
I'm not representing any institution. I'm just an individual who is more passionate about youth development. But I live in this community. I am a permanent resident.
This community?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Media.
Well, thank you, and thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, during your speech in there, you call on young people to take advantage of their presence in that your community, develop the community, to take a role, trying to capture to.
Well, the thing is that this workshop is about youth development and also to leadership in their community. I was just trying to inspire them so they can take leadership in their community, because sometimes the government of Liberia cannot do it all. We as youth leaders and former leaders, we need to have our organizations have these kind of workshops in the very community so we can have a trickle-down effect on the young people who are in the community. So I was just trying to inspire them that after this workshop there will be some brain teaser that they can organize themselves and do cleaning up service, they can organize themselves, do tutorial
Self-initiated.
Self-initiated, and I think it's so important in terms of community development. And I think this community, this is our second time doing this kind of project, this kind of workshop in this community, and I'm glad the number of people here.
So what is your role in this project?
Where we are organizing and also funding this particular project. My organization, the Center of Counsel and Restorative Dialogue, then partnering with this young and youthful rehab community. This is the second workshop we have done in this year.
So what do you hope to achieve at the end of this workshop, and all of the workshops you'll be conducting?
Well, we're gonna, the thing is that to make sure that young people take over leadership in their own respective community. So what we intend to accomplish in this particular workshop is for these young people to understand that it's important to have a voice within your community. It's important to do self-initiative. It's important to take self-hygiene, to take care of yourself. It's important to boost your own self-esteem, and also it's important to factor yourself in terms of your own community development and education as well.
So you think youth leadership has been lacking in most communities?
Well, I think communities like these, where there's not a lot of youth organization that is providing leadership in the community. So we as we that have organizations that cater to youth development, we need to make sure these kind of community benefit from capacity development from different organizations in the young people as well.
Okay, the Villa community seems to be far from Central Monrovia, where most of the activities have been. Is there any other mean that you're going to go to other far?
Yeah, next week we'll be at Douala in the Balaswa area, and then the following week we'll be at Rehefi. We're moving from community to community and doing these kind of leadership activities, and then we'll go to Dixville. Once we found the leadership, because the community themselves need to be involved in this process, we don't want to go into community where the community is not involved. So we will make sure that those community leadership are involved, and once they are involved, it will be easier because of that engagement from us and them. And I think it all comes down to the country national development agenda. So we can do this thing from community to community, and then we'll be buttressing the effort of the national government. This is what all of what we do in terms of our organization in the national government as well. So we'll continue to do them.
Okay, finally, talk about you sponsoring the program. Is it that you sponsor it from a pocket or from some NGO?
Well, it's self-supported, man. There's no NGO behind it. We're using our own mega resources. We've been doing this for our organization, been around since 2010. We've been in youth development for more than 17 years, and we continue to be involved in youth development. Most of our training are in youth development. So obviously, it's something that we really have passion for in terms of youth development. All of our advocacy over the last 3 years in Liberia, been involved in capacitating young people, whether it's through education, whether it's through socialization. I teach at the AMEU, at AMEZ. I also lecture at the University of Liberia at times. I'm involved in lots of youth and sports activities as well. So, and youth and sports and recreation activities. So yeah, we continue it because of passion, and we'll continue doing it.
Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you.